since I have a serger, I do go ahead and go down the center back of this dress. This is what I've got, the back, one back piece, and this is where the zipper goes. There's my where I've backed it, the velvet. So I go ahead, make a nice clean edge before I insert my zipper, which I'll show you next. Time to prep the zipper. See all those crimps? That's not good. So just run this over, take them crimps out. It won't hurt anything. Just don't spend a lot of time in any one place. Now, that's better. Now, here we are with one side of the zipper basted in all the way. Okay, so I'm going to take it right to the machine and sew pretty much over top of those basting stitches. Remember that pull, it's always a little bit hard to get past it. But you can do it, you just have to manipulate a little. We passed it! Yeah! Now, follow the yellow brick road. The invisible zipper foot, I use it for so many things. It's not just for zippers anymore. If you're making piping, this thing is perfect. You can use the piping foot, but if you got one of these, golden. So, we've put a stitch on top of the basting stitches. All right, and don't use too small of a stitch when you're dealing with something like this. You know, that stitch was a 4.5 on my Richter scale, whatever you call it. Now, oh my, a squirrel just came to my window. All right, now this gets tricky because this thing, you can pull up a little bit to get started, but you're never going to be able to bend that out. So I kind of don't bother. I always manage to just say, hey, we'll start where it'll let us start, which is usually going to be just past. And I squish this down, and I'm not basting this part because I'm trusting my other basting to kind of hold the zipper tape in place while I get started right here. Let me make sure. Okay, so then really you just kind of hold this down and you're stitching. There's a little like 1/16 of an inch area right next to where the teeth are, and if you follow that area you should be fine. It's kind of like, hey, go right there, this is what we marked for you. And so I just do the pinchy thing. I'll go a little way here and we'll see. Okay, put the needle down. Oh yeah, that seems to be working great. So, I don't try to do it fast. When you try to do it fast, that's when you end up in trouble. Not that I have total control over speed all the time. know probably it's possible someone's watching this going, man, she's slow and picky. Yeah, it's true. I'd be like, just run that thing and get that done. Well, you can do that if you want. If you're not worried about the quality of the end product. I'm totally worried about that. Right. Now, there we are. When you turn it, woohoo, look at that, look at that. I run my finger along just a little bit. Yeah, that's looking all right. Now, to make the other side as good. See, sometimes you do the first side and you're thinking, oh, I'm doing great. And then you get to the second side and maybe you have a little issue. We're not going to have that, right? You have to get the entire other piece and line this up on it, pin it in place, repeat this whole process. Okay, now, both sides of the zipper are in place. Sewn, basted, then sewn, both of them. So we should have a working zipper. Oh, that's always such a triumph. I don't know, I've been doing it a long time, but it's still always such a triumph. What do you think? I think we got it. Yep, I think it's looking good. There it is, zipper. Zipper. All right, now, here's the next trick. You have all that bottom of the skirt to sew down. And how do you do that? Well, if I can make it here. Basically, I want to just pinch this together, matching that up, knowing that where the bottom of the zipper is, which right there it is. See that shiny area? Just tuck that and match those edges up as best you can and try to get that area pinched together. And maybe a pin would be nice. I'm going to just mark where it starts, basically with the pin. So I'm going to start sewing right there. Okay, then after that, this is also where this fabulous foot comes in. This fabulous zipper foot. Okay. Because now you can switch it to the other side so that it's going to ride on this side of that seam. It's going to ride on that side away from the zipper. We're switching it over. You get a few stitches started there. It's a little thick, definitely. Get stuff out of the way, line it up. I don't want anything catching. So that's all lined up. Everything out of the way. Now I'm just going to drop the needle. And then line my seam out a little bit. Alright, so I'm off to this side of all that zipper bulk using this same invisible zipper foot. And I'll take a few stitches and go back and come back. Once you get reverse off, reverse, it's not very sensitive. Then get yourself down out of the way of the zipper. And just get out of there for a minute. So you did a couple inches to get from behind the zipper to past the zipper. Okay, now I'm just going to switch that back so that you're once again not sewing on this, but you're sewing on that side. switch it back so that you can go on continuing making those beautiful seams. And I'll go as far as I can here. I probably won't go into the actual velvet too far because of my famous hand stitching that I'll be doing. But we'll get this far. Good enough. All right, we're getting our bodice together. So we now have the back bodice all sewn together in what I would call permanent seams. And now we can start putting the thing together. Snip, snip, Connie. Okay. So next up, shoulders together. Okay. Now hang on. I am pinning the sleeve, which is also backed, because the sleeve's going to have to hold some ornamentation that you can't just attach to that flimsy velvet, I call it. So this will give it more oomph to hold anything that I do on the outside. So I am going to attach the sleeve for this fitting coming up, and basically I start down here and I'm just going to start pinning together, and I will baste it in by hand. And when you get to these seams where the princess seam came around, remember that? Make sure that's folded out. And also when you're sewing around there, you can double check it too, because sometimes it'll go the other way and then you're like, oh crap, it makes that mess. You don't want that, if you can avoid it. So I'm just kind of, and here's the deal too. I kind of fold this over my, every now and then I pull it this way over my hand or over my fingers, making the curve, because it's got to fit around a body. It's not a flat thing we're doing here. It's three-dimensional. So, and you see, as we're coming up here, we're going to have some extra. I did that on purpose, you know, so that I can have a little bit of a ease there. Velvet, and you know, when I'm putting it together, I just keep easing back and easing back. Don't pull this layer that way. If anything, kind of edge it back a little bit that way. And the part you're worrying about is not these matching, it's actually this seam line area. So as I'm getting close to the center, which I marked with a notch, there's my shoulder seam, steamed out just a little, and that's the center top of the shoulder. Now we are going to get some slight gathers here, and that's fine. This is not an absolute perfect fitted sleeve like you should have in a jacket, but it's very close, very, very close. So see, we have just the tiniest bit of something that's going to make a slight gather at the top, which will serve as support for the next layer, which is almost like a kind of an, it's not an over jacket, but there is an overlay sleeve, upper sleeve part that this, see what it's doing there? This will give it automatic support without me having to put a bunch of junk in there, which I have been known to do, and sometimes you have to do it. You know, that hard, scratchy tool. Nobody likes that. Everybody complains about it. So here I'm starting, well, I can't get it, there you go. In front, underarm. I'll start from this side and then move my way back up. And what do you know, the notches did match. Yeah. Sometimes. Notches are just, you know, they're great indicators. But, you know, the key is to make the pieces fit together the way you know they're supposed to. See, I'm easing back here a little bit. And there's that front seam that I don't want to get boogered up. Pin it there to hold it as good as possible. And then I'm bending this over, and then I'm going to, you know, ease ease it in. I never know where I'm supposed to be here on this thing. There I am. I can't see it all the time. And there again, right at the top, I have just that little bit. I'm going to change the position of that pin to go in so it gets out of my way. At the top, you just have that itty bit, which will be just fine. That's a lot of pinning because I just want it matched up best as possible. And then I will hand baste around this edge now. I've got my sleeve in place. I will hand baste it in place.